At Dahshur, the Red Pyramid lifts out of the desert like a sunrise of stone. Built for Pharaoh Sneferu around 2590 to 2570 BCE, it is the first successfully completed true smooth-sided pyramid. Its broad, measured slopes and precise masonry mark a turning point in Egyptian engineering. Lessons from earlier experiments brought together here. In the cool light of dawn, its iron-tinted core still glows, a quiet, enduring proof of planning, patience, and a new idea made perfect. Why Dahshur? Here, the desert plateau sits on solid limestone bedrock, stable, dry, and unyielding. After Meidum's collapse on sand and tuffler, foundations came first. The site lies close enough to the Nile for easy haulage, yet high enough to rest on firm ground. Quarries at Dahshur and nearby cliffs supplied abundant core stone. With those lessons and a capable administration, surveyors could level the ground and move stone along short, straight routes. Quarry to river, river to ramp, ramp to rising courses. Dahshur made a true pyramid practical. 4th Dynasty, Early Old Kingdom. In the late years of Sneferu's reign, after Meidum and the Bent Pyramid, a final project rose at Dahshur, the Red Pyramid. It was the third phase of a deliberate building program. Lessons carried forward, problems designed out. A shallower 43-degree slope, firm bedrock, and a disciplined supply of Dahshur core stone with Tura casing. Estates funded the work, gangs rotated seasonally, causeway and temples were planned in tandem. Architecture serving a single aim, to secure the king's rebirth and standardize a reliable royal blueprint. By the late 26th century BCE, the plan reached completion. The first true smooth-sided pyramid finished in Egypt, crowning Sneferu's campaign and setting the stage for Giza. At Dahshur, the Red Pyramid began at the ground. Builders cut a shallow trench around the footprint and filled it with water, the simplest, truest level. From that waterline, they measured down, shaving the bedrock until the base was perfectly flat. Then the first course was laid. Massive blocks seated tight, corners squared to the cardinal points, locking the pyramid's geometry to a stable, immovable platform. The king was at the apex of a complex bureaucracy, with the vizier as his chief administrator. This government managed everything from tax collection in the form of grain and livestock to the distribution of resources for massive state projects. Sneferu centralized this power, ensuring that the wealth of the entire Nile Valley flowed towards the royal treasury. This centralization was the key to funding his building program. His economic policies were focused on maximizing the agricultural output of the Nile floodplain. The king established numerous new royal estates and agricultural settlements throughout Egypt. These were not just farms, they were highly organized production centers that supported the court and the vast labor force employed in his construction projects. The Palermo stone records the creation of dozens of these estates, named in his honor. This systematic approach to land management ensured a consistent surplus, which was the lifeblood of the Old Kingdom state. It was this surplus that fed the thousands of workers at Dahshur and Meidum. Beyond agriculture, Sneferu invested heavily in trade and the exploitation of natural resources. He commissioned the construction of large cedarwood ships, each said to be 100 cubits long, or 52 meters long, you know. These vessels were essential for trade with the Levant, particularly the port of Byblos in modern-day Lebanon. From there, Egypt imported the high-quality timber necessary for shipbuilding, roofing temples, and creating fine funerary goods. This international trade brought not only materials but also prestige and wealth, further enhancing the king's power and the resources at his command. The administration of the state was also refined. Sneferu appointed his own sons and trusted officials to key positions. The title of vizier, the highest office after the king, was held by his son Nefermat, and later by another son, Khanefer. This practice of placing royal family members in charge of the state apparatus ensured that the king's will was carried out directly. This tightly controlled, family-run government was capable of organizing logistical feats that were previously unimaginable, transforming the kingdom into a perfectly integrated machine for building monuments. At the heart of Sneferu's program was faith, but also material craft. The Red Pyramid's core is local, iron-rich limestone, a warm red that gives the monument its modern name. In antiquity, that core was wrapped in brilliant, polished Tura limestone, white as sunstruck chalk, so the pyramid gleamed like a star on earth. Over centuries, most of that casing was stripped away, exposing the reddish courses beneath and the stepped scars of a vanished skin. These were no monuments to vanity, but sacred machines meant to bear the king to the gods and uphold Ma'at for Egypt. This divine mandate, and the hard lessons of Meidum and the bent pyramid, demanded perseverance. He could not afford to fail. After the lessons of earlier experiments, Sneferu's architects chose a shallower 43-degree slope for the Red Pyramid. The gentler angle reduced outward thrust on the courses, eased pressure on joints and foundations, and widened the base-to-height ratio, creating a stable mass that would not creep or crack over time. In cross-section, every course locks into the next, the load travelling cleanly down into bedrock, geometry serving longevity. That decision defined its silhouette. Low, deliberate and resilient. The Red Pyramid's 43-degree faces are not just elegant. They are the perfected solution that made a true, smooth-sided pyramid endure. On the pyramid's north face, an elevated entrance opens above the desert. We approach against the wind and the long shadow of its flank. Here the builders cut the doorway high, a guarded mouth into stone. Step inside, torches catch rough limestone, heat falls away, the air turns cool and dry. The corridor tilts downward at roughly 26 degrees, a tight passage about 1.2 meters high and 1.1 wide. We bend and shuffle, breathing dust as torchlight rakes the slope. A faint draft draws outward, the monument breathing through minute joints, while each measured step carries us deeper, steady and sure, toward the heart. Inside Sneferu's bent pyramid, the route advances through two solemn antechambers, each roof corbelled, course upon course stepping inward to shed the mountain's weight into the walls. Look up. The ceiling climbs more than 10 meters, and the space answers with a gentle, lingering echo, subtle reverb, stone acting like an instrument, tuned by geometry. In cross-section, each overhang guides stress away from the void, layer catching layer until the load meets solid stone. Two corbelled antechambers lead at last to the final burial chamber, an architecture of safety, height and quiet acoustics. These lessons, stable slopes, firm foundations and corbelled roofs to relieve pressure. armed the builders for their third attempt. The stage was set for a masterpiece. When the Red Pyramid's chambers were first opened in the 19th century, they appeared starkly empty, no intact sarcophagus in place. Contemporary reports describe scattered human remains in the fill, a skull, vertebrae, ribs, recorded without secure archaeological context. Osteological notes suggest a middle-aged male, yet identity remains unproven. Nothing links the fragments conclusively to Sneferu. One interpretation is robbery. Later intrusions, broken containers, and disrupted deposits implying desecration over time. Another holds that this was a cenotaph, that Sneferu lay elsewhere, perhaps within the bent pyramid, leaving Dahshur's Red Pyramid symbolically empty. With no inscriptions and no confirmed coffin, the evidence is tantalizing, yet incomplete. Engineered to guard a king, these chambers still guard a mystery. The Red Pyramid's faces were set to the cardinal points with remarkable precision, within a tiny fraction of a degree. Think of a surveyor's compass laid on stone, north, south, east, west, locked to the desert and the sky. How did they do it? By watching the northern sky, observing circumpolar stars that never set, and fixing true north by their nightly circles. Repeated sightings, patient measurements, then pegs in the ground and lines in the dust. This geometry was not mere technique, it was devotion. Aligning to the imperishable circumpolar stars bound Sneferu to eternity, while the east and west faces received sunrise and sunset like a daily rite. Stone, sky and king held in one unerring line. The Red Pyramid gets its modern name from the stone itself. Up close, the core is a warm, ruddy limestone, iron-rich blocks quarried here at Dahshur. Step back at golden hour, and the whole monument seems to glow. A quiet ember in the desert, announcing Sneferu's perseverance made permanent. Once this pyramid gleamed brilliant white. A fine Tura limestone shell wrapped the red core in polished light. Over centuries, most casing stones were stripped for later building, revealing the reddish heart beneath and leaving the stepped scars of a vanished skin. Quarry to monument was a disciplined routine. Blocks were cut and roughly dressed. Crews hauled them on wooden sledges over wetted tracks. Ramps of mud, brick and rubble rose with the structure. Thousands moved in rhythm, measured, patient, relentless. Meanwhile, the casing demanded precision. Tura limestone was cut to tight tolerances, ferried across the Nile by boat and inched into place. As the core climbed, masons laid each course to the slope, then dressed and polished the face to a seamless sheen. At the summit would have stood the pyramidion, the capstan. Some propose fine limestone, others a gilded mantle that caught the sun. We cannot point to the original today, it has not survived, but the idea endures. First light striking a radiant point, binding Sneferu to Ra's daily rising. A symbolic apex, not merely an architectural one. Today, the white is gone, but the red endures. From a slow aerial drift, you see the exposed core, course by course. The labour remains visible in every block. Once radiant, now weathered, yet still the monument of a king who perfected the pyramid. After the Old Kingdom, the Red Pyramid did not sleep. Its story continued in stone, layered by reuse, loss and rediscovery, leaving the monument we see today. In later eras, casing blocks were prized away for new works. Medieval quarrying stripped the bright Tura limestone, exposing the red core beneath and leaving talus mounds at the base. In the 19th and 20th centuries, surveys and measured drawings mapped its angles and chambers. They recorded the shallow 43-degree slope, the corbelled roofs within, and the plan of the complex, turning a ruin into data. Today, conservation paths, signage and careful clearing reveal construction details once hidden. What changed was the surface. What we learned was the method. How the first true pyramid was made, unmade, and documented for the ages. In the desert light, its serene plains endure. Stone made certain, time made calm. Stand at sunset and listen. What will outlast us? The answer glows on the horizon. The Nile, lifeblood of ancient Egypt, its waters a source of sustenance, its rhythm a heartbeat echoing through the ages. For the ancient Egyptians, life was a tapestry woven with music and motion, dance an inseparable part of their world. From grand ceremonies to intimate gatherings, dance punctuated their existence. A celebration of life, a bridge to the divine. Imagine the sun-drenched land thousands of years ago. Hear the echoes of drums and flutes carried on the desert breeze. Picture the vibrant colours, the swirling fabrics, the rhythmic movements of dancers. This was ancient Egypt, a civilization that embraced dance in all its forms. Dance was not merely entertainment, it was a language, a way to communicate with the gods, to honour their pharaohs, to express joy and sorrow. It was woven into the very fabric of their society, a testament to their deep connection with the rhythms of life and the cosmos. The walls of ancient Egyptian tombs and temples whisper stories. Stories told not just in hieroglyphs and carvings, but in vibrant images of dancers. These paintings, frozen moments in time, offer a glimpse into the past. They capture the grace, the athleticism, and the sheer joy of dance in ancient Egypt. Look closely at the murals. Notice the elegant postures of the dancers, their limbs contorted in seemingly impossible positions. See the energy radiating from their bodies, the smiles on their faces. These images are not mere decorations, they are snapshots of a culture that lived and breathed dance. The tombs of the nobles are particularly revealing. Here, scenes of daily life unfold, including depictions of dancers entertaining at banquets. These images show us that dance was not just for rituals and ceremonies, it was also a part of everyday life, a source of pleasure and amusement. The evidence is clear. Dance was ubiquitous in ancient Egypt, permeating every level of society. From the pharaoh to the peasant, everyone danced. In the ancient Egyptian worldview, dance held cosmic significance. It was believed to have played a role in the creation of the universe. The god Osiris, often depicted as a mummified king, was also a god of vegetation and rebirth. His annual festival included dances that celebrated the cycle of life, death and resurrection. Pharaohs used dance to assert their authority and connect with the divine. They performed rituals and dances to reinforce their status as intermediaries. These performances were grand spectacles designed to inspire awe. The said festival was a jubilee celebration performed by pharaohs after 30 years of rule. It included rituals and dances to rejuvenate the pharaoh's strength. Dance was a powerful tool to connect with the divine and ensure cosmic order. Who were these dancers who moved with such grace and precision? They came from all walks of life. Some were priests and priestesses trained from childhood to perform sacred rituals. Others were professional entertainers hired to perform at banquets and festivals. Among the most skilled and revered dancers were the women of the House of Music. These women, often attached to temples, dedicated their lives to music and dance. They were highly trained musicians, singers and dancers, and their performances were considered to be offerings to the gods. There were also specialized dancers, such as the Mu dancers, who performed acrobatic dances, and the dwarf dancers, who were often employed by the wealthy for their entertainment value. Regardless of their status, all dancers played an important role in Egyptian society, using their bodies and movements to connect with the divine, to entertain, and to tell stories. The ancient Egyptians were masters of adornment, and dance costumes were no exception. From the simplest linen kilts to elaborate headdresses and jewellery, dancers adorned themselves in ways that enhanced their movements and added to the visual spectacle. Female dancers often wore long, flowing dresses made of sheer linen. These dresses, sometimes pleated or draped, allowed for freedom of movement while still revealing the contours of the body. They might also wear beaded nets or vests over their dresses, adding another layer of texture and sparkle. Headdresses were an important part of the costume, often signifying the dancer's role or status. Some dancers wore simple wreaths of flowers, while others donned elaborate headdresses made of feathers, beads, and precious metals. These headdresses, some reaching several feet in height, would have swayed and shimmered with the dancer's every move. Dancers also wore jewellery, both real and costume. Necklaces, earrings, bracelets, and anklets all added to the visual impact of the performance. The jingle of these ornaments provided a rhythmic accompaniment to the music and enhanced the dancer's movements. No discussion of ancient Egyptian dance would be complete without mentioning the music. Music and dance were inseparable, each enhancing and complementing the other. The ancient Egyptians had a rich musical tradition, and their instruments were as varied as their dances. Percussion instruments played a central role, providing the driving rhythms that fueled the dances. Drums of various sizes and shapes were essential. Some were played with the hands, others with sticks. Clappers, cymbals, and sistrums, a type of rattle, added to the percussive texture. Wind instruments such as flutes, oboes, and clarinets provided melodies and harmonies. The flute, in particular, was a popular instrument, its haunting sound evocative of both joy and sorrow. String instruments such as harps, lyres, and lutes added depth and richness to the music. Imagine the sound of these instruments combined with the rhythmic clapping and chanting of the audience. The music would have been both exhilarating and hypnotic, transporting the dancers and viewers alike to another realm. Dance in ancient Egypt was not limited to religious rituals and funerary rites. It was also an integral part of celebrations, festivals, and everyday life. Dances were performed to celebrate births, marriages, harvests, and victories in battle. One of the most important festivals was the annual flooding of the Nile. This event, upon which all life in Egypt depended, was celebrated with great joy and abandon. Dances were performed to honor Hapi, the god of the Nile, and to ensure a bountiful harvest. Fertility dances, often performed by women, were another important genre. These dances, meant to ensure the continuation of life and the prosperity of the land, were characterized by their sensuality and earthiness. They often involved gestures and movements that mimicked the act of procreation. These celebratory dances, filled with joy, energy, and a zest for life, remind us that the ancient Egyptians, while deeply spiritual, also knew how to have fun. Death for the ancient Egyptians was not an end but a transition. It was a journey to the afterlife, a realm where the deceased would live on in spirit form. Dance played a crucial role in these funerary rituals, helping to guide the deceased on their journey and to ensure their safe passage to the underworld. Mourners often performed dances expressing grief and lamenting the loss of their loved ones. These dances, slow and mournful, were often accompanied by the wailing of mourners and the playing of flutes. Other dances, performed by priests and priestesses, were intended to appease the gods and to ensure the deceased's safe passage to the afterlife. These dances were often highly ritualized, involving specific steps, gestures, and incantations. One of the most important funerary rituals was the opening of the mouth ceremony. This ritual, intended to restore the deceased's senses and allow them to eat, drink, and speak in the afterlife, involved a series of symbolic gestures, including the use of a ritual adze to touch the mouth of the deceased's mummy or statue. The sands of time have buried much of ancient Egyptian civilization, yet the echoes of their dances still resonate. We find them in the graceful movements of belly dance, a dance form with roots in ancient Egyptian rituals and traditions. The undulating torso, the fluid arm movements, the emphasis on feminine grace and sensuality. These elements of belly dance can be traced back to the dances depicted in ancient Egyptian art. While the exact steps and movements have evolved over the centuries, the essence of ancient Egyptian dance lives on. The influence of ancient Egyptian dance can also be seen in other art forms, from the stylized movements of Egyptian folk dances to the choreography of modern ballets and operas inspired by ancient Egyptian themes. Dance in ancient Egypt was more than just entertainment. It was a way of life, a language, a bridge to the divine. Through dance, the ancient Egyptians expressed their deepest beliefs and connected with the rhythms of the cosmos. The legacy of ancient Egyptian dance lives on in the images carved on tombs and temples. As we gaze upon the pyramids and temples, let us remember the dances that once animated these spaces. Let us marvel at the enduring power of dance to connect us to the past. Welcome to ancient Egypt, a land of breathtaking pyramids, mystical deities, and unparalleled innovation. But beyond the monuments and mythology lies a fascinating story of how the ancient Egyptians maintained their health and nourished their bodies. Wellness was not just a personal endeavor, but a cultural cornerstone, deeply intertwined with their spiritual beliefs and daily practices. Join us as we explore the remarkable world of Egyptian medicine and diets, uncovering the secrets of their holistic approach to well-being. The ancient Egyptians were pioneers of medicine, combining natural remedies with spiritual practices. Their medical knowledge evolved over millennia, influenced by their observations of nature and the human body. They documented their knowledge in papyri, such as the Ebers papyrus, which contains over 700 remedies and treatments, showcasing their extensive understanding of medicinal plants and their applications. The Edwin Smith Papyrus, one of the earliest known surgical manuals, highlights their advanced surgical techniques and anatomical knowledge. These texts reveal an intricate understanding of the human body and diseases developed through centuries of practice and study. Temples dedicated to Imhotep were not only places of worship, but also centers for healing, reflecting the integration of medicine and religion in their culture. These sanctuaries offered treatments that combined prayers, rituals, and practical remedies, evolving into sophisticated centers of medical practice. This holistic approach to health, balancing the physical and spiritual realms, was a cornerstone of ancient Egyptian medicine, influencing practices for generations. The ancient Egyptians relied on the natural world for healing. Honey was prized for its antiseptic properties and used to treat wounds, while garlic was a common remedy for heart health and stamina. Willow bark, a natural source of salicylic acid, was used to alleviate pain, foreshadowing the development of aspirin thousands of years later. They also excelled in treating physical injuries. Splints made from reeds and bandages soaked in medicinal oils were used to set fractures. For infections, they employed antiseptic poultices made of resin, honey, and even copper salts, which have antibacterial properties. Dental health was a significant concern. The Egyptians used tooth powders made from crushed eggshells and ash to clean their teeth, though they faced challenges due to the abrasive nature of their bread, which wore down enamel over time. Aloe vera was another versatile remedy, used to soothe skin irritations and burns. Poppy seeds were utilized for their sedative properties, helping to relieve pain and induce sleep. Juniper berries and their oil were used to treat digestive issues and as a diuretic. Castor oil was a common laxative, aiding in digestive health and relieving constipation. A balanced diet was central to Egyptian life. Bread and beer were staples, providing carbohydrates and essential nutrients. Bread was made from emmer wheat or barley, and beer was brewed from the same grains, sometimes flavored with dates or herbs for added nutrition. Their meals included vegetables such as onions, leeks, and garlic, which were rich in vitamins and believed to have medicinal benefits. Fruits like figs, dates, and melons were common, adding natural sweetness and essential hydration to their diet. Fish from the Nile was an important protein source, supplemented by poultry and eggs. While red meat was reserved for the wealthy or special occasions, ordinary Egyptians had access to lentils, chickpeas, and other legumes for protein. Their reliance on whole grains made their diet high in fiber, which supported digestive health. However, the sand and grit from grinding flour often led to severe dental wear, causing pain and infections. Nuts and seeds such as almonds, sesame seeds and flax seeds were also part of their diet, providing healthy fats and additional protein. Dairy products like cheese and milk were consumed, offering calcium and other essential nutrients for bone health. Herbs and spices, including coriander, cumin and fenugreek, were used to flavor their food and were believed to have health benefits. Honey was a natural sweetener and was also used for its medicinal properties, adding both flavor and health benefits to their diet. The Nile River was the heart of Egyptian life. Its annual floods brought fertile silt, making agriculture possible. Crops like wheat, barley, flax and vegetables thrived along its banks, ensuring a steady food supply. The river also provided medicinal resources. Papyrus was not only used for writing, but also as material for wound dressings. Plants like lotus flowers and water reeds were incorporated into remedies for ailments, ranging from skin conditions to digestive disorders. The cycle of planting and harvesting was closely tied to the Nile's rhythm. This abundance allowed the Egyptians to experiment with a wide range of ingredients for both sustenance and healing. The Nile was also a vital source of fish, which was a key protein in the Egyptian diet. Advanced irrigation techniques allowed Egyptians to maximize their agricultural output. Medical knowledge was often recorded on papyrus, ensuring the transmission of healing practices across generations. The legacy of ancient Egyptian wellness lives on. Many of their remedies, like honey for wounds and herbal teas for digestion, are still valued today. Modern herbal medicine and essential oils also draw from ancient practices. Their understanding of nutrition and the connection between diet and health was far ahead of its time. Today's Mediterranean diet and healthy eating trends echo their principles. Their approach to wellness reflected their reverence for balance, or ma'at, the harmony that governed all aspects of life. This balance is mirrored in modern wellness practices like yoga and meditation. From the food they ate to the medicines they crafted, the ancient Egyptians demonstrated a profound connection to the world around them. This connection continues in today's natural remedies and farm-to-table movements. Beyond their renowned remedies and diet, the ancient Egyptians also practiced surgery with remarkable skill. They employed a variety of tools such as scalpels, forceps and probes, many of which have been discovered in tombs, showcasing their advanced understanding of medical procedures. Surgical techniques included trepanation, where holes were drilled into the skull to treat head injuries or illnesses, and the use of sutures made from plant fibres or animal sinews to close wounds. The Edwin Smith Papyrus, a medical text dating back to around 1600 BCE, provides detailed descriptions of these procedures, highlighting the Egyptians' systematic approach to surgery. They also practiced dentistry, extracting teeth and treating dental abscesses with precision. The combination of surgical skill and their vast knowledge of medicinal plants allowed them to perform complex procedures while minimizing pain and infection risks. The ancient Egyptians' contributions to surgery laid the groundwork for future medical advancements, demonstrating their ingenuity and dedication to the well-being of their people. In summary, the ancient Egyptians excelled in various aspects of wellness, from their innovative surgical practices and advanced medical tools to their comprehensive understanding of medicinal plants and balanced diets. Their holistic approach to health and medicine not only ensured the well-being of their people, but also laid a strong foundation for future generations to build upon. In ancient Egypt, medicine was deeply intertwined with magic and religion. Illnesses were believed to be caused by supernatural forces, requiring both medical knowledge and spiritual intervention. Priests, skilled healers, performed rituals to appease gods and expel spirits. Sekhmet, the lion-headed goddess, was revered in medicine. Her priests channeled her power through elaborate ceremonies. Thoth, god of wisdom, bestowed medical knowledge. Amulets and charms protected and aided recovery. Inscribed with sacred texts, they invoked divine protection. The Ebers papyrus blends spells and medical treatments. The heart was seen as the center of thought and health. During mummification, the heart was carefully preserved. Magic and religion ensured holistic well-being. This integration highlights the complexity of ancient Egyptian society and their understanding of the human condition. The diet in ancient Egypt varied significantly between social classes, reflecting wealth and status. The wealthy enjoyed diverse meals with meats, fish, fruits and vegetables. Bread and beer were staples, but quality varied by class. Commoners had simpler diets, mainly bread, beer and vegetables. Meat was a rare luxury for the working class. The Nile's bounty ensured basic foodstuffs for all. Feasts showcased wealth and reinforced social bonds. Food was a marker of status and cultural expression. Ancient Egyptian medicine was advanced and profoundly influential on later civilizations. Their knowledge of herbal remedies, surgical techniques and holistic health laid the groundwork for future practices. The Greeks adopted many Egyptian practices, integrating them into their own medical theories. Hippocrates drew inspiration from Egyptian medical texts. The Romans expanded upon Egyptian medical knowledge. Galen referenced Egyptian practices in his works. Egyptian medical papyri influenced both the ancient world and Renaissance scholars. Their emphasis on mind, body and spirit echoes in modern holistic medicine. The legacy of ancient Egyptian medicine continues to inspire contemporary practices. Understanding their influence provides a broader perspective on medical evolution. It highlights the importance of preserving and learning from ancient wisdom. Thank you for joining us on this journey into their remarkable world. Stay tuned for more explorations of the past. Explore more about ancient Egypt in our next episode. Like, share and subscribe to delve deeper into the mysteries of history. Deep in the heart of Nubia, where the Nile River flows through the sands of time, lies a land steeped in history and mystery. This ancient region, with its vast deserts and fertile riverbanks, has been a cradle of civilization for millennia. Here stand the colossal temples of Abu Simbel, a marvel of ancient engineering and artistry. These towering monuments, carved directly into the sandstone cliffs, are guarded by four colossal statues of Ramesses II. Each statue, with its intricate details and imposing presence, tells the story of a time when pharaohs ruled with divine authority. Their imposing figures, each reaching over 65 feet in height, have captivated travelers and explorers for centuries. These statues are not just stone carvings, they are a testament to the grandeur and ambition of ancient Egypt. Abu Simbel is more than just a temple complex. It's a testament to the power and ambition of one of ancient Egypt's most celebrated pharaohs. The walls of the temples are adorned with intricate hieroglyphics and carvings that depict the might and achievements of Ramesses II. The temple's location was strategically chosen. Nestled on the border between Egypt and Nubia, it served as a sentinel, watching over the lands and resources that were vital to the kingdom's prosperity. It sits on the border between Egypt and Nubia, a region rich in gold and other resources. The Nile River, flowing serenely nearby, was a lifeline, providing water, transportation and sustenance to the people of this ancient land. The imposing facade served as a powerful statement to any who dared to enter Egypt's southern frontier. It was a declaration of strength and a warning to potential invaders. It declared the might and authority of Ramesses II, reminding all of his dominion over these lands. The inscriptions and carvings are not just decorative, they are a chronicle of a ruler's legacy, etched in stone for eternity. As the sun sets over Abu Simbel, casting long shadows over the statues, one can't help but feel a sense of awe. The guardians of Nubia stand as silent sentinels, watching over the land and its people, a reminder of a glorious past that continues to inspire and captivate. Under the starlit sky, the temples of Abu Simbel come alive with a mystical glow. The guardians of Nubia, bathed in the soft light, seem almost ethereal, as if whispering the secrets of the ages to those who listen. Visitors from around the world come to witness this marvel, their faces reflecting the wonder and admiration that these ancient guardians inspire. The legacy of Ramesses II and the grandeur of Abu Simbel continue to leave an indelible mark on all who behold them. Ramesses II, who reigned from 1279 to 1213 BC, is considered one of Egypt's greatest pharaohs. His reign was marked by ambitious building projects, military campaigns, and a flourishing of art and culture. Abu Simbel, his most impressive architectural achievement, was intended to immortalize his legacy and honor the gods of ancient Egypt. Over time, the sands of the desert swallowed Abu Simbel. The temples lay forgotten for centuries, their existence known only through local legends. Then, in 1813, Swiss explorer Johann Ludwig Burckhardt stumbled upon the site. He was captivated by the sight of the colossal statues peeking out from beneath the sand. A monumental rescue, the Great Relocation. In the 1960s, the construction of the Aswan High Dam posed a significant threat to Abu Simbel. The rising waters of Lake Nasser, the reservoir created by the dam, would have submerged the temples entirely.
To save this ancient wonder, UNESCO launched an unprecedented international rescue operation. The temples were carefully cut into massive blocks, each weighing between 20 and 30 tons. These blocks were then transported and reassembled on higher ground 200 feet above the original site.
The relocation was a remarkable feat of engineering and international cooperation, ensuring the preservation of Abu Simbel for generations to come. The temples of Abu Simbel are not just architectural marvels, they are a testament to the grandeur and ambition of ancient Egyptian civilization. Nestled on the western bank of Lake Nasser, these temples have stood the test of time, witnessing the rise and fall of empires. Abu Simbel consists of two temples. These monumental structures were originally carved out of the mountainside during the reign of Pharaoh Ramesses II in the 13th century BC. They were intended to demonstrate the power and divine nature of the pharaoh. The larger temple, the Great Temple, is dedicated to Ramesses II himself, as well as the gods Amun, Ra-Horakhti and Ptah. The facade of the Great Temple is dominated by four colossal statues of Ramesses II, each standing over 20 meters tall, gazing out across the desert. The interior is a labyrinth of halls and chambers adorned with intricate reliefs and towering statues. These halls were designed to impress and inspire awe, with every surface covered in detailed carvings that tell the story of Ramesses II's reign and his divine right to rule.
The small temple, is dedicated to Ramesses II's beloved wife, Queen Nefertari, and the goddess Hathor. This temple is equally impressive, with its own set of statues and carvings that celebrate the queen's beauty and grace. The walls of both temples are covered in detailed carvings. These carvings are not just decorative, they are a visual record of the beliefs, achievements, and daily life of the ancient Egyptians. These carvings depict scenes from Ramesses II's reign, including his military victories, religious ceremonies, and family life. They provide a glimpse into the world of ancient Egypt, showing us the pharaoh's prowess in battle, his devotion to the gods, and his role as a family man.
The vibrant colors, miraculously preserved for millennia, bring these ancient stories to life. The hues of red, blue, yellow, and green are as vivid today as they were thousands of years ago, allowing us to connect with the past in a way that words alone cannot convey. As we explore these temples, we are not just looking at stone and paint. We are stepping into a world that has been carefully crafted to honor the gods and immortalize the legacy of one of Egypt's greatest pharaohs. One of the most remarkable features of Abu Simbel is its astronomical alignment. Twice a year, on February 22nd and October 22nd, the rising sun penetrates the Great Temple's inner sanctuary. The sunlight illuminates the statues of Ramesses II and the gods Amun and Ra-Horakhti, bathing them in a golden glow. This phenomenon, a testament to the ancient Egyptians' advanced understanding of astronomy, is believed to have coincided with significant events in Ramesses II's reign, such as his coronation or the start of the harvest season. The story of Abu Simbel is one of survival against all odds. Over the millennia, the temples have withstood the ravages of time, including natural disasters such as sandstorms and earthquakes. Yet they have remained remarkably well preserved, a testament to the skill and dedication of the ancient builders. From its creation by a powerful pharaoh to its rediscovery by intrepid explorers and its ultimate relocation to escape the rising waters, the history of Abu Simbel is a tale of human ingenuity and perseverance. The temples are a source of inspiration, reminding us of the incredible achievements of the past and the importance of preserving our cultural heritage. It serves as a powerful reminder of the enduring legacy of ancient Egypt and the importance of preserving our shared cultural heritage for generations to come. The ongoing preservation efforts at Abu Simbel ensure that this remarkable site will continue to inspire and educate people for many years to come. As we look to the future, we must remain committed to protecting and celebrating the rich history and cultural achievements of our ancestors. The ancient Egyptians created a civilization that thrived for millennia. This civilization was built on the fertile banks of the Nile River. The Nile's annual floods brought life-giving silt to the land. This allowed the Egyptians to cultivate crops and produce surplus agricultural goods. From the bustling marketplaces of their cities to the far reaches of the known world, the Egyptians were active traders. They exchanged goods, ideas, and culture with their neighbors. Their pharaohs, considered divine rulers, invested in expeditions to distant lands. These expeditions sought valuable resources like gold, timber, and exotic animals. Join us as we delve into the world of ancient Egyptian trade. It takes us from the sun-drenched banks of the Nile to the distant shores of Africa and the Near East. In the heart of every ancient Egyptian city lay the marketplace, a vibrant hub of activity from dawn till dusk. Here, locals and foreigners alike converged to barter for their daily needs and exotic luxuries. The air was filled with the aroma of spices, the sound of haggling, and the sight of colourful textiles. Farmers brought their bountiful harvests of grain, fruits, and vegetables. Fishermen displayed their catches of the day from the Nile. Artisans proudly presented their crafts, pottery, jewellery, and furniture. The Egyptians developed a system to standardize trade. There was a unit of value based on the weight of copper. It served as a common denominator for comparing the value of different goods and services. The marketplace was not just an economic centre but also a social hub. Festivals and religious celebrations often took place in the marketplace, adding to the lively atmosphere. The Nile River, the lifeblood of Egypt, was also its main artery of trade. Boats laden with goods sailed up and down its length. They connected the northern delta region to the southern reaches of the kingdom. But the Egyptians were not content to limit themselves to the Nile Valley. They ventured beyond their borders, establishing trade routes across land and sea that stretched as far as the Arabian Peninsula, the Levant, and even Mesopotamia. Overland trade routes, often arduous journeys by donkey caravan, crossed the eastern desert to reach the Red Sea. Here Egyptian ships embarked on voyages to the land of Punt. Punt, believed to be located in present-day Somalia, was a source of exotic goods highly prized by the Egyptians: incense, ebony, ivory, gold, and even live baboons. These international trade routes were not without their dangers, yet the lure of profit and the desire for exotic goods fueled the Egyptians' adventurous spirit, making them adept sailors and shrewd traders. The Old Kingdom period, around 2686 to 2181 BCE, marked the emergence of a powerful centralized state in Egypt. During this era, the pharaohs consolidated their power and embarked on ambitious building projects, most notably the pyramids of Giza. These monumental structures stand as a testament to the pharaoh's authority and the economic prosperity of the Old Kingdom. Trade played a crucial role in fueling this economic growth. The pharaohs controlled all aspects of trade. They sent expeditions to distant lands in search of valuable resources. Timber from the cedar forests of Lebanon was essential for constructing ships, temples, and tombs. Gold, mined in the Nubian desert to the south, became synonymous with the pharaoh's power and divinity. The Old Kingdom laid the foundation for Egypt's future economic dominance. It established the systems and networks that would allow subsequent dynasties to further expand trade and secure Egypt's place as a major power in the ancient world. The Middle Kingdom, around 2055 to 1650 BCE, witnessed a resurgence of Egyptian power after a period of political instability. The pharaohs of this era focused on expanding their influence southwards into Nubia. Nubia, a region rich in gold, became a primary target for Egyptian expeditions. Gold played a central role in the Egyptian economy and belief system. It was considered the flesh of the gods, and possessing it was a sign of divine favour. The Egyptians established trading posts and fortresses along the Nile to secure their access to Nubian gold mines. They also developed sophisticated mining techniques to extract the precious metal from the earth. Nubian gold fueled the Middle Kingdom's prosperity. However, the Egyptians' desire for Nubian gold also led to conflict. These campaigns were costly and bloody, but they ultimately secured Egypt's dominance over Nubia and its valuable resources. The New Kingdom, around 1550 to 1069 BCE, marked the zenith of Egyptian power and prosperity. During this era, the Egyptian Empire reached its greatest territorial extent, stretching from Nubia in the south to Syria in the north. This expansion brought immense wealth and luxury goods into Egypt, transforming its culture and economy. The pharaohs of the new kingdom launched ambitious military campaigns. These campaigns brought vast territories under Egyptian control and opened up new trade routes. Egyptian armies returned from their conquests laden with booty, gold, silver, precious stones, exotic animals, and even slaves. Trade with distant lands flourished during the New Kingdom. Egyptian ships sailed the Mediterranean, reaching the shores of Greece, Anatolia, and the Levant. These exotic goods became status symbols among the Egyptian elite, further stimulating trade and cultural exchange. The New Kingdom was an era of unprecedented wealth and luxury in ancient Egypt. The ancient Egyptians were renowned for their ambitious engineering projects, and the Canal of the Pharaohs stands as a testament to their ingenuity and determination. This ambitious waterway, also known as the Canal of the Seas, was an attempt to connect the Nile River to the Red Sea, creating a direct trade route between Egypt and the East. The first attempt to construct the canal is credited to Pharaoh Sneferu III of the 12th Dynasty, around 1878 to 1839 BCE. However, it was Pharaoh Necho II of the 26th Dynasty, around 610 to 595 BCE, who is often associated with the canal's completion. The canal was a remarkable feat of engineering for its time. It stretched for over 100 miles, linking the Nile River to the Bitter Lakes, which were then connected to the Red Sea. The canal facilitated trade and transportation between Egypt and the East. It allowed Egyptian ships to bypass the treacherous journey around the Sinai Peninsula, reducing travel time and risks. However, the canal was not without its challenges. Despite its intermittent use, the Canal of the Pharaohs stands as a testament to the ancient Egyptians' vision and engineering prowess. The once mighty Egyptian empire did not last forever. Political instability, internal strife, and the rise of new powers in the region gradually eroded Egyptian dominance. By the late period, around 747 to 332 BCE, Egypt was a shadow of its former self, its economy weakened, and its trade networks disrupted. The decline of Egyptian trade was due to a combination of factors. Internally, political instability and internal conflicts weakened the central government's control over trade routes and resources. The rise of independent kingdoms in Nubia further disrupted trade to the south. External pressures also played a role. The emergence of new powers, such as the Assyrians, Babylonians, and Persians, challenged Egyptian hegemony in the Near East. The decline of Egyptian trade had a profound impact on the empire's economy and society. The decline of Egyptian trade marked the end of an era. The story of ancient Egyptian trade is a testament to the ingenuity, resourcefulness, and ambition of this remarkable civilization. From the bustling marketplaces of their cities to the far reaches of the known world, the Egyptians were active traders. They exchanged goods, ideas, and culture with their neighbors. The legacy of ancient Egyptian trade is still felt today. The Egyptians developed complex systems of trade and diplomacy. They created innovative technologies for transportation and navigation. They established trade routes that connected distant lands and cultures. These innovations laid the groundwork for the development of international trade in the centuries that followed. Though the pharaohs and pyramids may be long gone, the spirit of trade that animated ancient Egypt continues to inspire us today. As we navigate the complexities of global trade in the 21st century, we can learn valuable lessons from the ancient Egyptians who mastered the art of trade and left an indelible mark on the world. Thebes, the heart of ancient Egypt. Nestled on the banks of the Nile, Thebes was more than just a city. It was the beating heart of a civilization, showcasing human ambition, faith, and artistry. Join us as we uncover the rich history and significance of this ancient city, exploring its grand temples, its royal tombs, and its pivotal role in shaping the story of ancient Egypt. Thebes, even in its ruined state, whispers of a time when it was the religious epicenter of ancient Egypt, particularly during the powerful New Kingdom. Imagine a city alive with the sound of priestly chants, the air thick with the scent of incense burning in honor of Amun-Ra, the king of the gods. Here, within the colossal Karnak temple complex, the Egyptians paid homage to their deities in ceremonies of unparalleled grandeur. The temple, a sprawling testament to their faith, grew over centuries, each pharaoh adding his own mark to this sacred landscape. Luxor Temple, bathed in the golden glow of the setting sun, was a place for ordinary Egyptians to connect with the divine. Together, these two temples form the spiritual heart of Thebes, a place where the earthly and the divine intertwined. The ancient Egyptians believed in a life after death, a belief reflected in the grandeur of their tombs. Just across the Nile, on the west bank, lies the Theban necropolis, a city of the dead as magnificent as the city of the living. Here, in the Valley of the Kings and the Valley of the Queens, pharaohs and their consorts were laid to rest, surrounded by treasures they believed would accompany them into the afterlife. The tomb of Tutankhamun, a relatively minor pharaoh, yielded a treasure trove of artifacts that captivated the world's imagination. But perhaps even more impressive are the elaborate tombs of rulers like Seti I and Ramses VI, their walls adorned with vibrant scenes from the Book of the Dead. Dotting the landscape are the mortuary temples, grand structures built not for the dead but for their memory. These temples, along with the royal tombs, stand as silent sentinels, guarding the secrets of Egypt's past. For centuries, Thebes was more than just a religious center. It was the vibrant heart of a nation, the capital of a mighty empire. Imagine the bustling streets of Thebes during its zenith, a time when it was known as the City of 100 Gates. Thebes' rise to prominence began during the Middle Kingdom, when Mentuhotep II reunited the two lands after a period of division. He moved the capital to Thebes, laying the foundation for its future glory. But it was during the New Kingdom that Thebes truly flourished, reaching the pinnacle of its power and influence. Under the rule of powerful pharaohs like Thutmose III and Amenhotep III, Thebes became a metropolis, a hub of international trade and a center of art and culture. The city's wealth was evident in its grand temples, its opulent palaces, and the luxurious lifestyle of its elite. Yet, even after losing its political dominance, Thebes remained a city of immense religious and cultural significance, a testament to its glorious past. Few sights on earth can compare to the awe-inspiring grandeur of the Karnak temple complex. Imagine standing before this colossal structure, its towering pylons reaching towards the heavens, a symbol of human devotion and architectural genius. Karnak was not simply a temple. It was a city within a city, a complex of temples, chapels and monuments dedicated to the Theban triad Amun-Ra, Mut and Khonsu. The hypostyle hall, with its forest of massive columns, is perhaps the most iconic image of Karnak. The construction of Karnak spanned over 2 millennia, with each successive pharaoh feeling compelled to leave his mark on this sacred complex. From the massive pylons and obelisks to the intricate reliefs and inscriptions that adorn its walls, Karnak stands as a testament to the ambition, ingenuity, and deep religious fervor of the ancient Egyptians. The story of Thebes is not just one of religious devotion and architectural grandeur. It is also a story of conflict and resilience. Thebes found itself at the heart of several pivotal moments in Egyptian history, times when the very existence of the kingdom was threatened. One such period was the Second Intermediate Period, a time of turmoil and division when Egypt fell under the rule of the Hyksos, a foreign power from the Levant. The Hyksos, with their superior weaponry and military tactics, conquered much of Lower Egypt, pushing the native Egyptian rulers south. Thebes, however, refused to submit. Theban rulers, seeing themselves as the true heirs to the pharaonic legacy, waged a long and bloody war against the Hyksos, a conflict that would determine the fate of Egypt. Finally, under the leadership of Amenhotep I, the founder of the 18th dynasty, the Egyptians triumphed. Amenhotep I, a Theban prince, drove the Hyksos out of Egypt, reuniting the two lands and ushering in a new era of Egyptian power and prosperity. Thebes, at its zenith, was more than just a political and religious capital. It was the cultural heart of ancient Egypt, a city alive with creativity and artistic innovation. Imagine the workshops of Thebes, filled with skilled artisans, sculptors, painters, weavers, their hands bringing life to stone, wood and fabric, transforming them into works of breathtaking beauty. The tombs and temples of the Theban necropolis offer a glimpse into this vibrant artistic tradition. The walls of these structures are adorned with intricate murals and carvings, each one a masterpiece that speaks volumes about the artistic skill and the religious beliefs of the ancient Egyptians. Theban artists and craftsmen were renowned throughout the ancient world for their skill. Thebes became a center for the production of luxury goods, from exquisite jewelry and finely crafted furniture to colorful textiles and beautifully painted pottery. Thebes' rise to prominence was fueled, in part, by its strategic location. Situated on the banks of the Nile, the lifeblood of Egypt, Thebes controlled the agricultural wealth of the surrounding region. Thebes' location also made it a natural hub for trade. Caravans laden with exotic goods from Nubia to the south and Punt to the east converged on Thebes, bringing with them gold, ivory, ebony, incense and other treasures. The wealth generated by this trade enriched the city, filling the coffers of the pharaohs and enabling them to embark on ambitious building projects and military campaigns. The opulence of Thebes was evident in its grand temples and monuments, its luxurious palaces and the lavish lifestyle of its elite. Even the mightiest of empires are not immune to the tides of time. Thebes, for centuries the heart of a civilization, eventually experienced a slow decline, its power and influence waning as new powers rose to prominence in the ancient world. The first blow came in 663 BCE, when the Assyrian king Ashurbanipal sacked Thebes. The Assyrians, a ruthless and efficient military force, had conquered much of the Near East, and Egypt, weakened by internal strife and economic decline, was unable to withstand their onslaught. The sack of Thebes by the Assyrians was a traumatic event for the Egyptians. The city, once considered invincible, was plundered and burned, its temples desecrated, its treasures carried off to Assyria as spoils of war. Thebes never fully recovered from the Assyrian sack. Centuries later, under Roman rule, Thebes was again sacked, this time after a revolt against Roman authority. Thebes may lie in ruins, its grand temples and palaces reduced to rubble, but its story continues to resonate across the millennia. The remains of this once great city, spread across the modern-day city of Luxor, are now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, a testament to their enduring historical, architectural and cultural significance. The Karnak and Luxor temple complexes, the Valley of the Kings, the Valley of the Queens, and the numerous other tombs, temples and monuments scattered across the Theban necropolis offer an unparalleled glimpse into the world of ancient Egypt. Today, Thebes is one of Egypt's most popular tourist destinations, attracting visitors from all corners of the globe. Thebes was more than just a physical city. It was a powerful symbol woven deeply into the fabric of Egyptian mythology and religious belief. The Egyptians believed that Thebes was the earthly counterpart of the primordial mound that emerged from the waters of chaos at the beginning of creation. It was here, in the heart of Thebes, that the god Amun-Ra, the king of the gods, was said to have first emerged, bringing light and order to the world. Thebes' association with Amun-Ra elevated it to a position of supreme religious significance. The Opet festival, one of the most important events in the Egyptian religious calendar, was celebrated annually in Thebes. Thebes, in the eyes of the ancient Egyptians, was a sacred city, a place where the boundaries between the earthly and the divine were blurred. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the ancient city of Thebes. From its grand temples that scraped the sky to the whispers of pharaohs in the Valley of the Kings, Thebes stands as a testament to human ambition, ingenuity, and the enduring power of belief. The Nile, a life-giving river, snakes through the arid landscapes of North Africa. Along its banks, an extraordinary civilization blossomed thousands of years ago, ancient Egypt. This land, shrouded in mystery and legend, continues to captivate our imagination. From the towering pyramids of Giza to the enigmatic Sphinx, the remnants of ancient Egypt whisper tales of pharaohs, gods, and a civilization that thrived for millennia. These monumental structures are not mere relics of a bygone era. They stand as testaments to human ingenuity, ambition, and a deep connection with the cosmos. The ancient Egyptians believed in the eternal cycle of life and death, reflected in their elaborate burial rituals and the grandeur of their tombs. Join me now as we embark on a journey through time, exploring the rise and fall of this extraordinary civilization. Our adventure takes us from the unification of Upper and Lower Egypt to the era of powerful pharaohs who commanded vast armies and immense wealth. We'll delve into the lives of ordinary Egyptians, their beliefs, their innovations, and their enduring legacy that continues to shape our world today. Prepare to be amazed by the splendors of ancient Egypt, a land of enduring fascination and unparalleled historical significance. Before the grandeur of the pyramids and the might of the pharaohs, Egypt existed as two separate entities, Upper and Lower Egypt. These regions were distinct in their cultures, traditions, and even their gods. The fertile lands of the Nile Valley were divided, each region with its own ruler and deities. The people of Upper Egypt worshipped gods like Seth, while those in Lower Egypt revered gods such as Wadjet. This division, however, would not last forever. The desire for unity and strength was ever present, and the two regions were destined to come together. Around 3100 BC, a powerful king emerged from Upper Egypt. His name was Narmer. He was a visionary leader who saw the potential of a united Egypt. Narmer's victory over Lower Egypt marked a pivotal moment in Egyptian history. His triumph was not just a military conquest, but a symbolic act of unification. This unification under one ruler paved the way for the emergence of a unified Egyptian identity and the establishment of the dynastic rule that would characterize ancient Egypt. The merging of the two lands brought about a new era of prosperity and cultural development. Narmer's legacy is not only political, it is also artistic. His reign marked the beginning of a flourishing period for Egyptian art and culture. The Narmer palette, a ceremonial artifact discovered in the ancient city of Hierakonpolis, depicts Narmer wearing the crowns of both Upper and Lower Egypt, symbolizing his dominion over the two lands. This artifact is a testament to his power and the significance of his rule. This artifact provides us with a glimpse into the early stages of Egyptian art and the significance of royal iconography. The intricate carvings and symbols on the palette tell a story of power, divinity, and the unification of a great civilization. With the unification complete, a new era dawned upon the land of the Nile. The once divided regions now work together, sharing resources and knowledge, leading to advancements in various fields. The first dynasty was established, marking the beginning of a remarkable journey that would span thousands of years. This period saw the consolidation of power and the establishment of traditions that would endure for millennia. The unification of Egypt laid the foundation for the flourishing civilization that would leave an indelible mark on human history. The achievements of ancient Egypt in architecture, art, and governance continue to inspire and awe the world to this day. The Old Kingdom, spanning from around 2686 to 2181 BC, is often regarded as the golden age of ancient Egypt. This era laid the foundation for the grandeur and mystique that we associate with ancient Egyptian civilization today. This period witnessed the flourishing of Egyptian culture, marked by impressive advancements in art, architecture, and governance. The pharaohs of the Old Kingdom were not just rulers, they were seen as gods on earth, and their divine status was reflected in the monumental projects they commissioned. It was during this era that the iconic pyramids enduring symbols of ancient Egypt were constructed. These structures were not merely tombs, but were also a testament to the pharaoh's power and their connection to the divine. These colossal structures, built as tombs for the pharaohs, showcase the architectural prowess and the sophisticated engineering skills of the ancient Egyptians. The precision with which these massive stones were cut and placed continues to baffle modern engineers and historians. The Great Pyramid of Giza, built by the pharaoh Khufu, is the most impressive of them all. Standing at an original height of 146.6 meters, it was the tallest man-made structure in the world. Its sheer scale and precision continue to astonish us today. The alignment of the pyramid, with the cardinal points, and its near-perfect symmetry, are feats of engineering that still inspire awe. The construction of these monumental tombs was not only a testament to the pharaoh's power, but also a reflection of the Egyptians' belief in the afterlife. The pyramids were seen as a means to ensure the pharaoh's safe journey to the afterlife, where they would continue to rule as gods. The pyramids were designed to ensure the safe passage of the pharaoh's soul into the afterlife, equipped with everything they would need for eternity. This included not only treasures and food, but also intricate spells and texts inscribed on the walls to guide them through the afterlife. The Old Kingdom wasn't just about pyramids, however. It was a period of remarkable cultural and intellectual achievements that laid the groundwork for future generations. This period saw the development of hieroglyphic writing, a complex system that combined logographic, syllabic, and alphabetic elements. This writing system was used for religious texts, official inscriptions, and monumental art, playing a crucial role in the administration and culture of ancient Egypt. The Egyptians also made significant strides in mathematics, astronomy, and medicine. Their understanding of the stars and the human body was advanced for their time, and many of their practices laid the foundation for future scientific discoveries. The Old Kingdom was a time of unprecedented prosperity and stability, but like all empires, its time in the sun would eventually come to an end. The Nile River, which had been the lifeblood of the civilization, also played a role in its decline. Internal strife, coupled with a weakening central authority, would usher in a period of instability known as the First Intermediate Period. This era of chaos and fragmentation marked the end of the Old Kingdom, but the legacy of its achievements would endure for millennia. The First Intermediate Period, spanning roughly from 2181 to 2055 BC, marked a significant departure from the opulence and stability of the Old Kingdom. This era was characterized by political fragmentation, social unrest, and economic decline. The once powerful centralized government of the pharaohs weakened, allowing provincial governors known as nomarchs to assert their independence. The First Intermediate Period was a time of uncertainty and upheaval. The Nile, the lifeblood of Egypt, experienced irregular flooding patterns, leading to famines and social unrest. The weakening central authority resulted in increased competition for resources and power struggles between rival nomarchs. Despite the challenges, this period wasn't devoid of cultural and artistic innovation. The nomarchs, eager to assert their authority and legitimacy, commissioned elaborate tombs and temples in their respective regions. This competition led to a flourishing of regional artistic styles and a departure from the rigid artistic canons of the Old Kingdom. The First Intermediate Period, often viewed as a dark age in Egyptian history, was a time of significant transformation. It marked the end of the Old Kingdom's centralized rule and paved the way for the emergence of a new dynasty that would reunite Egypt and usher in another era of prosperity and power. Around 2055 BC, a new dynasty emerged from Thebes, a powerful city-state in Upper Egypt. This marked the beginning of a transformative era in Egyptian history. Mentuhotep II, a visionary leader, succeeded in reuniting Upper and Lower Egypt, bringing an end to the political fragmentation that had plagued the country for nearly a century. His leadership was instrumental in restoring the nation's unity. This reunification marked the beginning of the Middle Kingdom, a period characterized by renewed stability, expansion, and a flourishing of arts and culture. The Middle Kingdom is often considered a Renaissance period in ancient Egyptian history. Mentuhotep II's reign marked a return to strong central authority. He was not just a ruler, but a reformer who laid the foundation for future prosperity. He embarked on ambitious building projects, revitalized trade routes, and restored order throughout the land. These projects included the construction of temples, fortresses, and irrigation systems that boosted agricultural productivity. The Middle Kingdom pharaohs, learning from the mistakes of their predecessors, implemented administrative reforms to strengthen the central government and prevent future fragmentation. These reforms included the establishment of a more efficient bureaucracy and the appointment of loyal officials to key positions. The Middle Kingdom was not only a time of internal consolidation, it was also an era of expansion. Egyptian armies pushed the boundaries of the kingdom further than ever before. Egyptian influence reached southward into Nubia, a region rich in gold and other valuable resources. This expansion brought immense wealth and resources to Egypt, further solidifying its power. Trade flourished, bringing wealth and exotic goods from distant lands. Merchants traveled far and wide, establishing trade networks that connected Egypt with other great civilizations of the time. The Middle Kingdom, with its focus on stability, expansion, and administrative efficiency, laid the groundwork for the emergence of the New Kingdom, a period that would witness Egypt's transformation into a mighty empire. The achievements of the Middle Kingdom set the stage for future greatness. The pharaohs of the Middle Kingdom, through their shrewd leadership and ambitious endeavors, ensured that Egypt would rise again to reclaim its place as a dominant force in the ancient world. Their legacy is a testament to the enduring strength and resilience of the Egyptian civilization. Herodotus possessed a keen eye for observation and a passion for collecting stories. He sought out learned men and women, engaging them in lively discussions. He listened intently to tales whispered in marketplaces and songs sung in royal courts. He believed in the power of first-hand experience, venturing into remote regions to witness life in all its diversity. Herodotus understood that to truly comprehend the world, one had to explore its every corner. Egypt, with its ancient pyramids that have stood the test of time, towering majestically over the desert landscape, and enigmatic hieroglyphs that tell stories of gods, kings, and everyday life, held a particular allure for Herodotus. It was a land steeped in history, its origins lost to the mists of time, where every stone and ruin whispered secrets of a bygone era. Herodotus was captivated by the grandeur of its monuments, the towering statues that seemed to touch the sky, and the complexity of its civilization, a society that thrived with bustling marketplaces and intricate social structures. Herodotus immersed himself in Egyptian culture, engaging with priests, scribes, and ordinary people, learning from their daily lives and traditions. He learned about their religious beliefs, their social customs, and their understanding of the cosmos, which was deeply intertwined with their daily existence. He was fascinated by their stories of gods and pharaohs, tales of divine rulers and mythical beings, of creation and the afterlife, where elaborate burial practices ensured a journey to the next world. He recognized that Egypt offered a unique perspective on the human experience, a civilization that had mastered the art of living in harmony with the natural and supernatural worlds. Herodotus was a pioneer in the field of history, often referred to as the father of history due to his groundbreaking work in documenting the past. However, his methods differed greatly from the rigorous standards of modern scholarship. Unlike today's historians, who rely on a combination of primary sources, archaeological evidence, and peer-reviewed research, Herodotus had to navigate a world where written records were scarce and often unreliable. He relied heavily on oral accounts, gathering stories from a wide range of sources. These included local storytellers, travelers, and merchants, each with their own version of events. Herodotus understood that history was often passed down through generations, shaped by the memories and perspectives of those who recounted it. This oral tradition was a double-edged sword. While it preserved the essence of events, it also allowed for embellishments and alterations over time. The stories he collected were like pieces of a puzzle, each one offering a glimpse into the past, but none providing a complete picture. The hieroglyphics and inscriptions he encountered were invaluable, yet they too were subject to interpretation. Herodotus recognized the subjective nature of his sources, but believed that by collecting multiple perspectives, he could approach a semblance of truth. He was aware that each account was colored by the teller's own experiences and biases. While Herodotus valued first-hand observation, he also relied on the interpretations of local guides and experts. These individuals provided him with insights that he could not have gained on his own. He understood that these guides and experts had spent their lives immersed in the culture and history of their land, making their knowledge indispensable. He consulted with Egyptian priests who possessed a deep knowledge of their history and religion. These priests were the keepers of sacred texts and oral traditions, offering Herodotus a wealth of information. He sought out Greek merchants and travelers who had spent years in Egypt, absorbing its culture. These individuals provided a unique perspective, bridging the gap between Greek and Egyptian worlds. He recognized that to fully understand a place, one had to rely on the knowledge of those who knew it best. This meant listening to the voices of the people who lived there, who had experienced its history firsthand. Herodotus's approach to history was not without its flaws. His reliance on oral accounts and second-hand information sometimes led him astray. He sometimes struggled to differentiate between fact and legend, accepting fantastical stories at face value. These tales, while captivating, often blurred the line between history and myth. He acknowledged the limitations of his own knowledge, often presenting conflicting accounts side by side. This approach allowed readers to see the diversity of perspectives, but also highlighted the uncertainties inherent in his work. However, his willingness to embrace uncertainty and to present multiple perspectives distinguished him as a historian. He was not afraid to admit when he did not know the full story, and he left room for future scholars to build upon his work. He understood that history was not simply a collection of facts, but a complex tapestry woven from memory, interpretation, and imagination. This holistic approach allowed him to capture the richness and complexity of human experience, making his work timeless and invaluable. Egypt, in the eyes of Herodotus, was a land of wonders, both familiar and strange. As he journeyed through this ancient civilization, he was struck by the unique blend of natural beauty and human ingenuity that defined the landscape. He marveled at the Nile's annual floods, which brought life to the arid land. These floods were not just a natural phenomenon, but a lifeline for the people, ensuring the fertility of the soil and the prosperity of the nation. He described the Egyptians' ingenious irrigation systems, which transformed the desert into fertile fields. These systems were a testament to their advanced engineering skills and their ability to adapt to their environment. He observed their agricultural practices, noting their cultivation of wheat, barley, and flax. These crops were not only staples of their diet, but also essential for their economy, providing materials for trade and daily life. Herodotus was impressed by the Egyptians' ability to harness the power of nature to sustain their civilization. Their agricultural techniques were sustainable and efficient, allowing them to thrive in a challenging environment. Herodotus was equally fascinated by the Egyptians' cultural practices. He witnessed their vibrant festivals, intricate rituals, and the daily routines that reflected their deep-seated beliefs and values. He described their reverence for the Nile, which they believed was the source of all life. The river was central to their religion and mythology, and they held numerous ceremonies to honor its vital role in their existence. He observed their elaborate burial rituals, including the mummification of their dead and the construction of elaborate tombs. These practices were deeply rooted in their belief in the afterlife and the importance of preserving the body for the journey beyond. He noted their fascination with astronomy, their development of a calendar based on the solar year, and their construction of massive pyramids aligned with the stars. These achievements demonstrated their advanced understanding of the cosmos and their desire to connect with the divine. Herodotus recognized the Egyptians' deep connection to their environment and their reverence for the natural world. This connection was evident in their art, architecture, and daily practices, all of which reflected a profound respect for the forces of nature. He observed their respect for animals, particularly cats, which they considered sacred. Cats were not only pets, but also symbols of protection and grace, often depicted in their art and associated with the goddess Bastet. He noted their belief in the afterlife and their elaborate preparations for the journey into the underworld. These preparations included not only mummification, but also the provision of goods, amulets, and inscriptions to guide and protect the deceased in the afterlife. Herodotus understood that the Egyptians' worldview was fundamentally different from that of the Greeks, shaped by their unique environment and their ancient traditions. This difference was reflected in their art, religion, and social structures, offering a rich tapestry of cultural diversity that fascinated and inspired him.